You want a scary story for Halloween? I can give you one. Not about ghosts in an old ancestral home, but something that chills you because it happened right here, in a place that was supposed to be safe. My name is Maria. I'm a caregiver. I've been in the States for 7 years now, sending money home to the Philippines. Right now, I'm in a smaller city in Ohio. Cold, quiet, and nothing like the hustle of Manila. Last year, I was renting a room in a sprawling old apartment complex. The kind with narrow hallways, doors that stick, and carpets that have seen too many decades. My unit was 3B. It was late October and the air already had that metallic icy bite. I just finished my late shift caring for Mrs. Henderson. 12 hours on my feet and all I wanted was sleep. Maybe a quick video call with my youngest. But Halloween was coming and my friends were going out. They were all going to a party. But I was too tired and decided to stay home. That year, Halloween fell on a Thursday. I was dreading it. The complex was mostly occupied by students and other service workers like me. When I got back to 3B at around 6 p.m., the place was dead quiet. Too quiet. Even the usual traffic noise from the main road seemed muffled. I microwaved some leftover adobo and sat down to watch a local news broadcast. The anchor was talking about the local legend, something about an old man who used to live in these apartments decades ago. A tailor who supposedly went mad after his family left him. They said he'd wander the halls on Halloween, not as a ghost, but as an echo of something desperate. I remember scoffing, focusing on that flaky crust of my lumpia wrapper. I'm a modern woman. I believe in hard work, not old manananggal tales. At around 10 o'clock, I started hearing it. It was coming from the apartment beside mine, 4B. I knew nobody lived there. The landlord, a grumpy man named Mr. Davies, had told me it was vacant, undergoing some major plumbing repair. I'd seen the lockbox on the door. It was untouched for weeks. I tried to ignore it. Old building settle, pipes groan. But it wasn't groaning. It was rhythmic, like someone was dragging a heavy metal trunk across the bare wooden floor, then stopping. I looked at my phone, 10:15 p.m. My heart started that familiar, tight flutter, the one you get when you're completely alone and the world outside feels too vast and alien. I told myself, it's the wind. It's the students next door playing a stupid game. I turned the volume up on the TV. I even put my headphones over my ears, blasting a Tagalog teleserye for comfort. It didn't work. The sounds changed. It wasn't dragging anymore. It was walking. Slow, heavy, deliberate steps just beside my room. I pulled off my headphones. The silence that followed was worse than the noise. I felt the hair stand up on my arms, the kind of feeling you get when you know you're being watched. I grabbed my phone. Not to call the police. What would I say? Someone is walking loudly in an empty apartment? I chose to scroll and find my friend Liza, another OFW in Jersey. I started typing, "Liza, I'm scared." But I stopped. I didn't want to sound like a naive provincial girl they laugh at. I took a deep breath, remembering my Lola's advice. If you're scared, make noise. Show them you aren't weak. I marched over to the wall that separated my living room from the vacant apartment and banged my fist against it. "Hey, keep it quiet. That unit is supposed to be empty." Silence. Absolute, dead silence. I waited, listening so hard my ears hurt. Nothing. Good, I thought. They stopped. I let out a shaky breath and turned my back toward my little kitchen nook. That's when I heard it, a sound that wasn't from next door. It came from my own front door. It wasn't the cheerful, polite rap of a neighbor borrowing sugar. It was slow, heavy, and deliberate, exactly matching the rhythm of the steps I just heard a while ago. My blood turned to ice water, and my instincts took over. Instead of running, I froze, staring at the flimsy wooden door separating me from the hallway. I could practically see the silhouette of a tall, looming figure through the thin peephole. I didn't breathe. I didn't even move. I stood there for what felt like an hour, but it was probably only 30 seconds. The knocking didn't repeat. Then, a sound so faint I almost missed it. It was coming through the door's peephole. My mind snapped back the local legend the news had mentioned, the tailor who went mad. They said he'd been so obsessed with perfectly fitted clothing, and when his family left, he just stitched himself into the fabric of the place. I crept toward the door, phone flashlight off, not wanting to give away my position. I carefully, slowly, moved my eye to the peephole. The hallway outside was dimly lit by the emergency light down the corridor. Nothing, just the industrial gray carpet and the identical blank doors of the other units. But as I pulled my eye away, I caught a glimpse of my own reflection in the metallic edge of the peephole casing. And in that fleeting image, I saw something else reflected behind me. In the dark corner of my apartment, it wasn't the shape of a person. It was a long, slender shadow that seemed to be sewing. A needle impossibly long catching the faint light from the TV screen, moving in a rapid, familiar up and down motion against the darkness of my own living room. I screamed, a raw Filipino scream that had no English equivalent. I scrambled backward, tripping over the coffee table. I didn't wait to see what it was or if it was real. I grabbed my keys, my wallet, and my raincoat. I ran. I didn't look back. I didn't even lock the door. I flew down the stairs past the empty unit 4B and burst out into the crisp Halloween night. I stayed at Liza's that night. I never went back to 3B. When I finally called the landlord the next morning, he sounded annoyed. He said that Unit 4B had been empty for over a year, and the main door was secured from the inside with a deadbolt he hadn't given to anyone. To this day, I'm still haunted. I moved into a nice modern place. No old carpets, no shared walls, but sometimes when the wind hits just right on a cold night, I still hear that slow, heavy. And I checked the lock on my own front door, just to make sure nothing's trying to sew itself into my silence. Happy Halloween!